Hey, here's a poorly constructed intro.
Across the pond and beyond, elmify goes to Europe, Part 2.
Part 2 starts with a train ride, and that train ride starts with a cannoli, which I got from this lovely gentleman named Nathan at the London gathering. I was trying to save the cannoli for partway through our train ride, but as my sister pointed out,
eat it because it might be the last thing you do before we get crushed to death by the channel.
It's really nice to have an older sibling around for such reassuring words. But the cannoli was delicious and the perfect way to kick off our trip to Paris. Now, we were only in Paris briefly, but while we were there, we did a quick tour of the main sites, including, of course, the Eiffel Tower. We climbed up it by day to appreciate the views and came back at night to appreciate the sparkliness. As I said, we weren't in Paris very long, but the brief impression I got of the city was first that one should really learn some French before going. The last time I studied French was in the 8th grade, so I really only remembered stuff like "Le fromage est dans la fenêtre aujourd'hui," which was helpful in approximately 0 situations. My other impression of Paris was that it's an incredibly romantic city. Traveling with my friend Becky and my sister, we didn't get to take advantage of the romantic atmosphere, but we made the most of it, and it was still really nice to be able to witness all these people walking around looking deliriously happy with each other. On a related note, to everyone making out in this topiary, I totally saw you. After our trip to Paris, my sister bid us farewell and returned home, and Becky and I continued on to Holland, more specifically to the city of Leiden. Leiden is laced with beautiful canals and narrow streets, and Lord of the Rings looking trees and shops with weirdly poignant names. There were also a lot of museums, and I did that thing again, that why did I take a picture of this thing. I do remember that this is a narwhal tusk, and I do recall taking a picture of these guys, mostly because sometimes I like to imagine what kind of conversations people in portraits are having. Like, it looks like they're probably making some sort of important scientific discovery, but maybe they're just talking about what to order for lunch.
How about pizza? Yeah, pizza sounds good, I guess. I could go for some thin crust. You guys know I'm lactose intolerant. Cool it, Kenny. We'll order you a salad. Oh my god, he's so sensitive. I can hear you!
Another cool thing about Leiden was its proximity to Amsterdam. Becky and I made our way there several times and saw even bigger canals and more bikes than I've ever seen in my life, and the Van Gogh Museum and the inside of a houseboat. Amsterdam was also the setting for another gathering. This time the gathering went mobile, taking a Fault in Our Stars-inspired walking tour on our way to Vondel Park, where we chatted and played Ninja, and thanks to both DJ and Annalise, I was lucky enough to be able to sample 2 varieties of Dutch licorice.
Okay, so this is okay. We're good with this one. Thank you, Annalise. This one is delicious. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't care where you drop it. I don't know. It's not that bad. Thumbs up.
Thank God.
Later on, I visited the Amsterdam Public Library, where there were not only books, but also pianos, and where I got in touch with Liana, who unfortunately arrived at the gathering after we had gone mobile.
I came to the Dam Square and there was no one there. No one there.
Luckily, we were able to meet up and have the world's smallest YouTube gathering on the steps of the library. I was also lucky enough to be able to see a different side of the Netherlands when I visited the beach with the excellent sauna of the channel Books and Quills. The beach was gorgeous, and there were horses galloping along it, and I took an inordinate number of pictures, and we had delicious ice cream, and it was just a really great time overall. That night at the beach was actually my last night in Holland, and my last night in Europe in general, and it was a fantastic way to end what had been a fantastic trip. I loved meeting people and seeing the sights in London, and I loved the romance of Paris, and I was really happy to finish my trip up in the Netherlands. There were moments where I was pretty sure that Holland could not be any more picturesque, and Holland was like, think again. And I was like, okay, Holland, but I'm pretty sure you can't be any more awesome. And Holland was like, well, here's a beautiful beach, and bagels and beans hot chocolate, and some really amazingly fun people. And this is our library. Here's some adorable ducks, awesome boat ride, canals, historic building at night, and a breathtaking sunset. Well played, Holland. Well played.
Across the pond and beyond. That was my trip to Europe, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it, and thanks to everybody who came and hung out with me, and I hope that you had a good time, because I sure did, and next time that I make an outro, I will try to make sure it is somewhat more succinct. Y'all.